Well, welcome to Basildon, home of the XR2i, the 1.6 injection gear Orion, and this wonderful park lake, Gloucester Park. I first fished this 24 years ago. I did my first ever night over here, caught a personal best of 13 pound 13 ounces. Ooh, and I've literally only been here for probably 10 or 15 minutes. And I've had this absolutely beautiful black as your hat scraper double common, coupled with a tiny little mirror at the same time. And well, today it isn't about size, it's about nostalgia really. I haven't been here, like I said, for a couple of decades, and to get a bite within 20 minutes is absolutely superb. So we'll have a look at how I'm doing it. We'll get this one straight back. Believe it or not, I went to college literally about 200 yards away from here, so even though I don't live and I wasn't from Basildon, I spent an awful lot of time of my life here. So let's get this cracker back and see if we can get some more. Well, like I said, I haven't been here for 2 decades, and in fairness, I turned up and it hasn't changed. The only difference is, obviously over 20 years or 20 plus years, fish movements can, well, they can change. So this is the cockle bank, known because years and years and years ago, before I even started fishing here, they used to drop cockle shells along this bank to stop it getting too muddy, so hence the cockle bank. The reason I picked this swim is literally, I know the cockle bank fishes quite well in the colder months, and even though it might not look like it, it's only just turned spring, and you know, 1 minute you're sweating, next minute you're freezing cold. And actually, I've got a bit of a shiver going on now. And I've walked halfway down, literally almost slap bang in the middle of the island that runs right the way down the middle of the lake. And even though there's a lot of bird life in front of us, you can probably hear it, to be honest with you. There's 2 giant great snags. Now, there's one just to my right, one in front of me, and then there's a clear bank just along there. So what I've done is I've picked 2 points either side of one of the snags, perfectly clear. I took the rig off when I first got here and just flicked the lead out up close to the island. And you've got to be within, I'm going to say within 18 inches of the island really, at the most a couple of foot away from it, which is still a reasonable cast. It's a good tight cast because a lot of these trees overhang, so it's much more of a punchy cast rather than a lob. And all I literally did was get here and I thought to myself, well, it's still reasonably cold. Where do carp hang about when it is cold? And they normally hang about and they just sort of sit up in the snags, not doing much, to be honest, for a few months. So I thought this at least would be good for the first few hours and see if we can pick a couple of bites. And like I said, I had the rods in the water for probably 15 minutes and both pretty much went off at the same time. So I've got the rods all clipped up. I'm going to fuzz them back out again. I've been on the rivers for the last 3 months, so I'm surprised I ain't whacked it up a tree yet, but this might be the first one. So here we go. What I've done as well, oh, the wind's just picked up, and we have got quite a difficult crosswind as well, which makes casting tight to an island quite tricky. But what I did as soon as I got those 2 fish in the net is I got my catapult, I've got some 10mm new Grange boilies, and it's probably 35, maybe 40 yards. It's absolutely slap bang on the end of a maximum catapult for me, especially with this wind. So I put 2 pulps just over both the spots of 10mm boilie, just to keep the fish in the area while I was mucking around. So here we go. Let's hope the wind doesn't pick up too much. Right. Rod up in the air, hit the clip, bang. Oh, look at that. I don't get excited all that much. Well, I do, but that was absolutely bang on. So what I'm doing is I'm lifting the rod up to about 90 degrees above my head, hitting the clip, feathering it down so it goes into the same spot every single time. But what that also does is it gives me probably 2 or 3 yards of spare line once I've sunk the line to get onto the reel. Now, these fish ain't going to take any line initially because there's nowhere to go. I'm literally within 18 inches of that bank. So what they do is generally pull the tip round because I'm fishing a very, very tight line, and they just kite. So hopefully, in the not too distant future, I'll be able to show you exactly what a bite looks like. But for now, that is 1 on the money and 1 to go. There we go. Oh, no. Line up. No, that's on. Yeah, that'll do. Well, we've literally only just got that rod back out and it's flown round. I'll be honest, I put the other rod straight in the tree, so I've had to re-tackle that one. I was literally just clipping up the other rod again, and luckily there's no rig on it because it is within inches of that bank. But my right-hand rod, the one that produced that lovely scraper double common, has just pulled round. I don't think this is big, it's shaking its head too much, but I mean, I don't like snag fishing all that often, I'll be honest. I get all nervy and jittery, and you know, I don't like fishing for fish generally where there's a half decent chance you're going to lose them, but oh, you can't knock the excitement when it does go round. You have to clamp down on it, dip the rod under the surface and just hold it. You can't let it take any line whatsoever. I mean, we're probably only fishing, I don't know, it's probably 40 yards, let's say 40 yards. So there's still, with soft rods, these are my 2¼ pound barbel rods, with soft rods and 10 pound drag line, there's still an element of stretch there. So at that range, I could probably do a couple of yards. So there's absolutely no way you can give them any line on the clutch or start back winding. You just have to hook them and hope that the hook hold stays, you know. Don't worry about pulling. Don't worry about walking backwards too much. Just hold them and let them kite. As soon as you can turn their heads, they just tend to kite away from the snag. So that's another common. And I'll tell you what, I've got a few rigs tied up, but the one that's done, the one that's done all the fish so far actually, is a tiny little bit of pink fake food. Wouldn't believe it. All I'm doing is scattering a few 10 millers over the area, putting a little stick, which is basically crushed up Newgrange and a few Newgrange pellets. So Newgrange is the flavour that's going in. But a little bit of pink fake food over the top seems to be doing the business. And I don't know where my net is. Oh, my net's in the other swim. Right, this is a little bit jiggery pokery, but I'm gonna have to let some line out. It's a good job I've got long arms, isn't it? Oh, that's not how you do it. Oh, Macey, you get yourself into a right pickle. Sometimes I wonder how I catch fish anyway, you know what I mean? It's just I can make the best of swims look bad. But this one seems to be going quite well today. It's not a big fish. In fact, the last few weeks I've been fishing for chub, and I've probably caught chub 3 times the size of this, but I'll be honest with you, it's the first time I've cast up tight to an island for probably 5 months, so I'm having a ball. It's absolutely awesome. Oh dear, come on mate. Now once you actually get up within 2 feet of the island, you're probably fishing in a couple of foot of water, which is brilliant for sort of margin fishing. I know it's the far bank, but effectively that's the margin over there. But you come 6, 8 foot off of it and you can feel a really distinct drop. So you're probably in 6 or 7 foot of water, which, you know, certainly this time of year when the carp are, well, all fish really, they're seeking out those warmer layers. Oh, I can barely see anything. Like the rod's up the tree. Yeah, 3 down. A few more to come, I would probably say. Well, Gloucester Park, I love you. Well, there we go, proof in the pudding. It might take 10, maybe even 15 casts to get it within a couple of inches of that island, but when you do, it's guaranteed to rock off. There's a robin. Oh! The rod's nearly gone. Not quite double figures, but does it matter when they look like that? That is absolutely perfect. One of the nicest looking commons I've ever seen. Seems like I'm doing something right today. Whew. Makes a change, doesn't it? Right. You know what? I should have brought 2 nets. I always say it. Right, there we go. We've been here about 3 hours now, and I reckon I've had the rods in the water a total of about 45-50 minutes. It literally is rocking off straight away. Absolutely beautiful, and on a cold spring's day like this, and it is cold now, when that sun goes in, it's absolutely freezing. This is like holding a block of ice. That is superb action, absolutely superb. So rig-wise, I've kept things very, very simple, as I do for most of my fishing. I don't like complicated stuff in any of my life, let alone fishing. So I've got 12 inches of dark matter tubing, very good for snag fishing. It's strong as an ox and sinks like a brick as well. Because I'm fishing quite tight lines, I know that with the density of this last 12 inches, maybe even 15 inches, that's slightly longer than 12 inches, isn't it? That bit is pinned down. So the critical part is now to the deck. That goes down and fits beautifully into the tail rubber with this micro leg clip. I've got a 1 ounce flat pair there. I like flat pairs, or Guru do a flat square pair as well. Those are very, very good when you're casting up tight to islands because they sit nicely on the ledge. Not sure how steep that ledge is over there, but certainly if you land 6-8 foot off, you get a decent drop. It feels about 5-6 foot, but if you go within 2 feet, you don't really feel a drop at all. That's how shallow it is. So those flat pairs or the square pairs seem to sit really, really nicely, give you a nice bolt effect as well. Got a stick clip just underneath this little bit of silicone. I've gone for 15-pound end trap. Now, for the majority of the rig, that actually seems a little bit sort of heavy really, but it's really supple, it's beautifully strong, it's really easy to work with. It's my favourite hook link material of any hook link material for any type of fishing, to be honest with you. I use it on the rivers in floodwater conditions for big barbel. I use it for chub, for tench, bream, and particularly here where I'm going to be. I'm not aiming at anywhere near the snags really. I'm tight up to the island. I'm staying about a rod length away from the actual sort of nitty gritty part of the snags. But if the fish does kite the wrong way and get me anywhere near them branches, then that part there is the bit that's likely to go. And with 15-pound end trap, that is as strong and as good a material, in my opinion, as you're likely to get. On the hook link, I've threaded a little stick of crumbed down Newgrange with a few Newgrange pellets in there, so mainly scent, not a lot of food content. As soon as them fish sort of cruise up and down, they see them sprinkled 10mm Newgrange baits, and then they see this beautiful little morsel of food. There's a lot of scent there, like I said, but not a lot of food content, so they just waft the hook bait. I've got a size 10 MWG there. That's an MWG barbed, so that's actually my favourite barbel hook of all time. But fantastic sort of carp hook really for fish up to sort of 15-16 pound, which is exactly what we're looking to catch here, and very, very strong as well. I've never ever opened one of these out, and I've really laid into some very big fish on them as well. And like I said earlier on when I was playing them fish, that tiny little fake food, I think that's squid flavoured or fruity squid or something like that. I don't really think the flavour is actually all that important, to be honest. They're coming in, they're seeing the scattering of 10mm, they're sort of picking the odd one up here and there, and I'm certain there's a few fish out there, so there's an element of competition with it as well. But as soon as they see that small pile of goodness, that little stick that I've got, like I said, crumbed down Newgrange boilie with a few Newgrange pellets in there, that is literally just wafting off the shank of that hook just there, sits nice and proud, and it just seems to be buying me so many bites. And to be honest, I think we've had 6 pickups, 5 fish on the bank, and as soon as these baits have gone out, I think every one of the bites has been within 5 or 6, maybe 10 minutes top. So it proves that certainly is sitting there cherry on the top like and doing the business. So without further ado, I'm going to get this one back out in the pond and see if we can nick us a few more carps. Ready? Yeah, that's a really poor bite, that one. Let's go right down the lake. Where's he going? Uh-oh. Right, we're going to hit the clip soon. This one's going right down the lake. I hooked it over here. God, look at that, it's coming real close. I don't think it's a big one because, well, one, we haven't hooked any big ones yet today, and two, it's moving way too quick. Look at it, it's underneath my feet, what are you doing? Oh, blimey, it is big, it's massive. Yes, it's massive. It's massive, I'm not kidding. Oh, Jesus. It's massive. It's a big one. This thing completely tore off. It's doing everything that a small fish normally does. But I mean, I've got the sun in my eyes, but I think it's by far the biggest fish we've had today. I mean, it's surreal. Right, I'm going to drop this rod down. I want to get everything out of the way because I want to land this one. I said it wasn't about size, but you know, everybody gets the old 50p, 20p when you see a decent one come up underneath your rod tip. So I don't think it is massive, but it's, you know, once you've had, oh, it ain't bad at all. When you get a few, no, it ain't bad. See, it's got a big head on it, but it doesn't look like it's got a massive body. Oh no, that's a fair old fish, that. It's a fair old fish. But I don't think he's fighting like a tiny one, you know? Oh, look at that, I've just had the bailiff come round, I've just paid my £8 day ticket, and he said, there's a few 20s in here, you know, but you're very unlikely to get them off the island, which is where we're fishing, because, come on, oh, it's so short, the fish is so short. I don't think it's as big as I think it is, because it's just got no length to it, but it's got a fair old set of shoulders on it. Oh, it nearly took me to the clip. It came in within literally seconds of hooking it. I was getting really blasé thinking it was a tiddler, and actually it's got a fair old set of shoulders on it, and I really want this one in the net. Look at that! God blimey, that looks like it could be, it's got, oh, come on, one more roll, God, look at the size of that. You jammy sod. Oh, you jammy sod. Do you know what, my biggest fish ever from this place is 13 pound 13 ounces, and that was the personal best that I had 23 years ago. I think it's safe to say I may have beat it. Oh wow. Well, there you go. I initially said right at the start we ain't here for size, but oh my God, I thought it was a tiny one. It just stripped down the island, came in really close within about 25-30 seconds. It was a sort of a pretty average drop back bite as well, in fairness. All the others have been sort of hooping the rod round and going for the snags, but that, my friends, does not get caught. Looking at the mouth of it, doesn't get caught very often at all. And like I said, my lake personal best for this place, which was 23 years ago, was 13 pound 13 ounces. And I ain't weighed this, and I'm not gonna, but it looks every ounce 20 pound to me. What an end to a fantastic day. Do you know what, it's 12:30 now. I got here at 9 o'clock, so that's 3.5 hours fishing. I've probably had the rods in the water hour and a quarter, if that, and I've had 8 or 9 fish, dropped one, and that is just ridiculous. What an awesome place. I live not 20 miles from here, 25 minutes in the car. I can't believe I ain't fished it for 2 decades. I will definitely be back. Awesome.